who am I to do this? And really letting myself be like, what if? What if this were possible? What could that look like? What would I want to be doing? Welcome to the Passion Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Haley Thomas, and I'm obsessed with helping you create a business that supports the life you dream about. I'm a multi-passionate creative who let her curiosity take her down the unconventional path of entrepreneurship. I have worked with many entrepreneurs just like you who desired to make an impact and an income by doing what lights them up. Get ready to learn about the strategies, shifts, and stories that will equip and inspire you to take action. This is the space where dreams become reality. Okay, I have some crazy news to share today. Like big dream, nervous butterflies, heart palpitating, crazy thing to share. And it's something I've been slowly dropping. If you follow the Passion Pursuit on Instagram, I've been sharing some hints every now and then for the past few months. But I want to announce it here officially that I will be living in Spain this summer for a whole month. Yeah, crazy, first of all. Super random. Why? Probably lots of questions coming right out of the get-go. And first and foremost, I want to just express how freaking excited I am. Like, you guys, this has been something that has been on my heart for as long as I can remember. This dream of living abroad, this dream of experiencing another place. My whole life have grown up in the Midwest, was from Iowa, moved to Wisconsin. I've stayed in this Midwest bubble, and while I have traveled quite a bit, I've always craved the experience of going and living abroad. So we're doing it. We are actually doing the thing. This dream that is so outside of the normal and quite unconventional, if I do say so. But honestly, a big part of what the Passion Pursuit is about is showing you how to go after those dreams that, to be honest, are not within the normal range, the normal path, the normal box that our society likes to keep us within. It's about doing the things that scare the absolute crap out of you, that make you feel so uncomfortable, but simultaneously excite you and light you up at the same time. So I share this announcement, one, because, it's about time. I finally let you all in on what is going on over here. But I also am living in real time what it looks like to go after something that you really want. And I want to share what that process has looked like with you, because for those out there who are pursuing a dream or starting a business, you most likely are doing this. You are stepping outside of the norm. You are having difficult conversations, maybe with family, sharing what you're doing. You are fighting through that internal fear, the doubts, the like, who are you to even do this type of mentality. And I want to walk you through this very real, very raw personal journey that I've been on in the pursuit of this dream. You know, it's been a while since I have been in the place where I've had to step way outside of my comfort zone. I've been an entrepreneur for almost a decade now. And so it's been a long time since I've had those conversations where people were like, what? Like, you're doing what? Or questioning or worried or, throwing the fears. It's been a long time since I've even navigated those fears. And not to say that I don't step outside of my comfort zone within the business, but it's different than when you start something for the very first time. However, pursuing this has felt very much like when I started my business from the ground up. For example, last year at this time, I was a part of a group program, and there was a woman in this program who was talking about her dream of living abroad. And she wasn't just talking about it, she was actively planning how she was going to do it. She was going to move to Europe, sell all her things, pack up her stuff, and go. And I remember being like, well, that's great for her. But I wouldn't even let myself imagine that maybe I could do that too. And not in the same sense, not in the same extent, but I wouldn't even let myself think about traveling to Europe alone, let alone actually living there alone, okay? So that was me last year, very much just like, Yay, like that's awesome. Super happy for you. And even though internally I was questioning, or questions were coming up like, oh my gosh, how cool would that be to do that? Or wow, like living abroad, what would that look like? If I could live anywhere, where would I go? Like all of these little dreams, these flickers of desire were coming to life, but I just very much pushed them down and was like, nope, like we can't have that. We're gonna keep going. We've already kind of gone down the unconventional path by being a business owner. Let's just keep it simple. We're gonna stay within that comfort zone. I heard something today on a podcast that I was listening to about the comfort zone and how we either get so comfortable with comfort that we begin to keep ourselves there at all times, and anything that's outside of that, we're like, no, like this feels really safe, we're gonna stay right here. Or we can get really comfortable with being uncomfortable, and it can expand us to new possibilities and new things that we never really thought were possible for us, but can lead us to places that we've only dreamed about going. And that's how this last year has been for me, you guys. It's been very much about pushing past the norm, pushing outside of this box of like, who am I to do this? And really letting myself be like, what if? What if this were possible? What could that look like? What would I want to be doing? So let's fast forward. That was last summer. Let's fast forward maybe like 3-4 months, okay? So we're in the fall of 2022, and something that I've shared on here, I actually teach yoga each week at a local studio here in Wisconsin. It's something that is a passion of mine, and I'm all about pursuing your passions and creating the life and the days that you want to do. And so I teach yoga twice a week because it brings me joy. And the owners of this studio there's one who she loves to travel, and she was about to go on this 4-month journey with a company called Remote Year. And Remote Year, they have programs that are 12 months, 4 months, and 1 month. They have hubs all over the world in all of these different countries. And it is essentially communities and accommodations for people to experience living remote, but not completely on their own. Super, super cool. So for those taking like a 4-month journey, they go to 4 countries, 12, it's 12 countries. So she's telling me about the 4 months, she's going to 4 different countries. I'm learning about this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know something out there existed like this. Like how neat that you can go experience a place, but you're not completely isolated in figuring out this process on your own, okay? So she's telling me about this, but even still, I was like, I don't know, a month, like that feels a little stretchy. That's like 30 days, a really long time to be away from home. And I love my cats, and I just can't imagine like being away from my husband for that long. Like that's cool for her, but no, not for me. And once again, before I even let myself go there, suppressed this dream once again. However, it started to open up a little bit of something. So at the start of 2023, I laid out my vision for the year, and one desire that kept coming up that was so strong was this desire to take a solo trip. I have traveled a lot, but I've always traveled to a destination where I'm meeting people, or there's a group thing that I'm going to, or a retreat or a mastermind, but I've never gone somewhere and experienced being in a place for a whole week or any amount of time where I've been completely on my own. So I had this strong desire that this was going to be the year that I do that, and I really saw it being somewhere international and somewhere tropical. Like that was just so present on my mind. I really wanted to take this trip. So then we get into maybe like 3 weeks into the new year, okay? And my younger sister is in college right now, and she has always had this dream of studying abroad. She is learning, she's going to be a Spanish teacher, which is so freaking cool, and she's currently in her sophomore year of college. And she thought that her study abroad program wasn't going to be until after her junior year, but it turns out it was this summer. So we find out this information. My sister is going to be living in Spain for 5 weeks. That's crazy. So my mom and I are talking back and forth, and we're talking about visiting her and going to Europe and seeing her while she's in Spain, because how cool would it be to walk around Spain with somebody who's fluent in the language and can show us all the cool places that she's experienced. But the somewhat problem with this, I wouldn't really call it a problem, was that Brian and I, my husband, were actually planning on taking a 2-week trip to Europe this summer. So then I'm thinking, okay, like, it's one thing to go to Europe once in a summer, but then it's another to go twice. Like, I don't really love to fly. That's 2 flights to Europe. That's probably not the cheapest thing to be doing. And we were planning to go in May, and my mom and I were talking about us as a family going and at the beginning of July. So I was like, gosh, I just don't know. This is not like the most feasible option. And I jokingly put out there, what if I stayed? Like, what if we went to Europe and I just stayed? And again, even at that point, it was said as a joke, but internally, it opened up that next level for me, right? Like, first it was, okay, maybe I could take a trip on my own. The next is, what if I did go somewhere for a month? What would that look like? And even though it came out as a joke, it even just that alone allowed me to expand that possibility of what if. So then I was reminded of Remote Year, and just out of curiosity, I decided to look at, in the time frame that my sister was going, what programs were they having across the world? And this is when you know that there is, I truly believe sometimes that things have a way of working out that we cannot even wrap our heads around how they do. So divine in the timing. But in Remote Year, they had a program to Valencia, Spain, on the exact same dates that my sister was going to be in Spain. In a different city. I think she'd be about a 2.5, 3-hour train ride away. But what are the chances of there being a program in the same country on the exact same dates? And when I saw that, all of a sudden, I felt this like burning desire, this dream really coming to the surface. I could not suppress it any longer. That was like, okay, I need to actually look at this and really sit with this, and what could this look like if I decided to do this thing? So I did. I sat with it. We mapped out the numbers. We mapped out what it could look like. How would that be me staying there for a month? And then I decided to do it. I just took the leap. I jumped in and I said, okay. And I said yes. And we signed up. And you guys, it is just wild to me thinking about the fact that this is coming to life, and a dream of mine that has been with me for, I can't even remember how long. You know, I had the opportunity to study abroad in college, but was in a major that I wasn't super passionate about, and it didn't make sense to do it at the time. But that dream of living abroad has never gone away. And I'm so grateful. You know, I do have a really solid support system in this season of my life that is supportive of this dream and allowing me to go. Like, Brian, my husband's backing on this has been just the most beautiful thing, and I feel so grateful to have that. He has really been the reason why I took the leap, because of his encouragement and support along the way, and I do not take that for granted whatsoever. Now, I will say, with this process of this dream coming to life, that once I said yes, you know, I think we see these things, we hear these things, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're doing this, like, that's crazy, that is so awesome. Yes, absolutely is. And there's another layer here that we don't often see on social media, or we don't hear about often, and that is the immense fear that comes up when you make a decision like this that is so far outside of your comfort zone. Unlike my sister, I do not speak Spanish. I am actively trying to learn as much as I can before I go, so that I can somewhat figure out like what I need to know, where I need to go, and all of those things. I, had to look at this financially and make sure that this was feasible. Of course, there's fears that come up with that, right? As a business owner, like, this is a huge thing to commit to. of course there's fear coming up of like, what are people gonna think about this? Like, I in my later 20s, I'm married. I'm not a college student studying abroad, single woman who can just like go wherever. You know, there's other things at home that I am responsible for, that I, you know, have to do. And so there's all these pieces that come up as well. And so I want to emphasize that as well, and want to dive into that more too on a future episode of those things that come up after you say yes. It's not always the excitement that stays. We tend to go through what I like to call an emotional cycle of entrepreneurship. And so you've got that excitement, but then it's very quick to move into like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm kind of shocked I'm doing this. And then the fear, and then the overwhelm, and so on and so forth. So definitely moving through all of that. Definitely have shared this with a few people that have been like, wait, why are you going? What are you doing? Why are you going there? Like, wait, for how long? And just are not understanding it. And that's okay. I've had to learn as well that this is something that is a personal dream and a personal vision of mine, and that there's going to be some people that don't understand that. And that's okay too. I'm going to have moments leading up, I already have, where I myself have been like, what did I just do? Like, I cannot believe I'm going to be doing this. And this immense amount of fear, sadness about leaving, all of that has come up. And so I want to emphasize that when you are pursuing something, it's not always going to be a walk in the park. And if it's something that's this far out of your comfort zone, like, I'd be a little bit concerned if you weren't feeling all the feels when it comes to doing the thing that you want to do. It is so incredibly normal. But the difference this time for me is that I am not letting the fear sit in the driver's seat. I am in the driver's seat. The fear is definitely there, but she's in the passenger seat. And I just say, hey, I hear you. You have every right to be absolutely terrified. And I'm going to leave space for that. And I hear you, and I've got you, but I'm going to take us moving forward. You're going to tell me to turn left and say, no, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we should turn around. Maybe we need to make that U-turn and like get going back to the comfort of home. Like, this is too much. And I'm going to say, I hear you. And we're going to keep turning right. We're going to keep going in that direction of this thing, because we know that it is going to change our life. It's going to change us for the better. And so for you, my friend, when it comes to doing the thing that you want, whether that's starting a business of your own, pursuing a dream that's on your heart, leaving the country and living abroad, having your first kid, whatever it is that dream is that's on your heart, just know that the fear that is coming up within you is absolutely valid. It is there for a purpose. Our fear is designed to keep us safe. But what we have to share is that we are okay when we step out of our comfort zones. We can put that fear in the passenger seat and keep moving in the direction of what excites us, what we desire most. And the last thing I'll say is that in these processes of pursuing a dream is community, my friends. Community is everything when it comes to going for the things that you want in your life. I mean, if I did not have the support, the backing that I do within mentors of mine, within friends of mine, you guys, my best friend has been my rock in this with my husband, and just cheering me on and celebrating this exciting decision that I've made. And I really don't know like how I would do this without their support. And that's why I always say, like, finding that community of people that think like you, that are like-minded, that are thinking outside of the box, that are pushing the norm, that are living this unconventional life in the pursuit of creating the life that they desire. It's like there's spaces out there that exist like that. And I'm building one here with the Passion Pursuit. So if you're listening to this, you're in this community too. So reach out. If you're in that space where you don't have that yet, know that this is the day where you just found out you do. So welcome. You are a part of this community. And I hope that as I continue on this journey, that it inspires you, it shows you as an example of what can be possible for you if you allow yourself to go there, to sit in that state of a possibility, to really see what could this look like if you decided to just go for it. This is the space. I said this so many times in the Passion Pursuit. This is the space where dreams become reality. And I want to live as an example of that for you, to show you what is possible so that you too can feel inspired to do the same. So, crazy announcement. There it is. Now you know it's out there for the world. And I'm really excited to share more as things come up. I feel like this is going to bring up a lot of lessons for me leading up to this trip. My word, I'm gonna have so much to share when I'm there. Whenever I travel, I'm always bombarded with ideas and downloads and inspiration. So there's gonna be some podcast episodes filmed in Spain. Like, how crazy is that to share? So just know that there's more to come on this. And I hope that even just this announcement alone has inspired you to just stretch a little bit, to expand, to let yourself go there and imagine what could be possible for you. All right, my friends, we will talk soon, and yeah, have a great day. We'll have to end that sometime. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Passion Pursuit podcast. If you loved this, head on over and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every week. I can't wait to hang out with you again soon.